Going on, guys? Welcome to another video in my tutorial series for Java. Now today we're going to be talking about while and do while loops. Now loops are basically a way for you to repeat a statement multiple times. All right, and let's go ahead and do this. So the first thing I want to do is create this is what we call a counter. So something for me to stop this loop. Okay, and I'm gonna just call this counter. Let's say I want something to be done 5 times. I'm gonna initialize my counter to 5. Now, the next thing I want to do is the following. I'm gonna create my while loop here, and I'm going to enter the conditional I want to check. So this, whatever I put in here, is basically uh, kind of like an if statement where we had a conditional in between those parentheses. This is something similar. So let's do the following. While counter is greater than 0. Remember this greater sign we learned? All right. So while counter is greater than 0, what do I want to do? Well, why don't we just do the following? Oops. We are going to print on a new line the value of counter. Why don't we do that? Let's print the value of counter as, oh, and this, if I run this right now, this is going to give me an, not an error, but this is going to essentially freeze my entire IDE. And the reason is, think about it. While counter is greater than 0, do this. While counter is greater than 0, do this. Well, when does this statement end? It never ends in this case, because this is what we call an infinite loop. And that is what you definitely want to avoid. And the way we stop it from doing that is with this. So I'm going to decrement the value of our counter here every time. So this here, let me explain to you exactly what's going to happen. Let me just run this real quickly, so you guys can take a look at the output, and maybe you'll get a better idea. But I'm also going to go ahead and explain this. So let's take a look at our code here. Let's read it. While counter is greater than 0, okay? And let's take a look. Is counter greater than 0? Yes, counter is 5. 5 is greater than 0. All right, let's perform the following operations. We'll print out the value of counter, which is 5, onto the screen. So that's what we have, 5. Now on the next line, we're saying, okay, we're going to decrement the value of counter by 1. So at this point, counter is going to have the value of 4. All right, and we're going to go back up to the beginning of the while loop and check it again. Now, is the value 4 greater than the value of 0? Yes, it is. Let's print out the value 4, which is what we have here. Now we're going to come back here, decrement the value 4, and now we're going to hold the value 3. Go back up. Is 3 greater than 0? Yes, it is. So print it out. That's what we have, 3. Decrement the value again. Now, go back up. We're going to say, okay, is 2 greater than 0? Yes, it is. Print it out, which is what we have. Now, we are going to decrement it one more time. And is 1 greater than 0? Yes, it is. Goes through here. And now this is where things get interesting, okay? We print out the value 1 for counter. And after we print out this value, we go ahead and do the following. We say this. We decrement the value of 1. So now we are going to have 0. The counter is going to hold the value of 0. We come back here. Is 0 greater than 0? No, it is not. All right, 0 is not greater than 0. Therefore, we end this while loop and we go here. And this is the end of our program. Okay? Now, something else you might have noticed um, is we could have actually done this. So instead of doing this right here, putting this on its own line, we could have done this. And this would give us the exact same result. Now, if you don't understand why this is so, I highly suggest you go back to my videos. And there is this video in my playlist. I believe it's called Incremental Operators and Decrement Operators. And in that video, we discuss this functionality right here. All right, and this just gives us a cleaner code to take a look at. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is a do while loop. Okay, and what is a do while loop? Well, basically, it does the exact same thing. So, say we wanted to do the exact same thing here. Oops, what am I doing here? Oh, okay, that's annoying. Anyways, there we go. Do while. So this is how the structure of a do while loop looks like, and I'm gonna explain in just a little bit. Let me just place the values in here. Okay, so we have the same argument here. While counter is greater than 0. However, you notice that now the while is at the end of this statement here. Now, why is this? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and run this, and you will see they do the exact same things. So why would I ever use this over this? It seems like I would just use this all the time, wouldn't I? Because this is less code, right? Well, here's the reasoning. A do while loops does the following. It performs this line of code, then it checks the value. So prior to this, using our while loop, what we had was basically this. Let me get rid of this. Sorry about that. Very annoying. Okay, so prior to this, in our while loop, what we did was the following. We checked our condition, so we checked this before we ran the code. Okay, for the do while loop, we are going to run the code regardless, then we check our condition. Now, what does that mean for us? Okay, that might be a little confusing, but what does that really mean for us? All that means for us is even if this condition was false, so I'm gonna set it to 0. So if counter is 0, and in any normal if this was a while loop, oh, you know what? In fact, yeah, let me leave this commented out. So when we take a look at this, what do you expect to happen? Do you expect this to be printed out or not? Well, let's take a look. I'm gonna print it out. And I'm going to tell you right now that this value will be printed out. And the reason is we do not do a check in a do while loop, unlike our while loop. So we are just going to go ahead and print this out, then do perform our check. However, if I comment this line out and oops, and I run the while loop, you will see that nothing is printed to the screen. And the reason for that, and as you can see here, nothing is printed to the screen. The reason for that is, in a while loop, we check our condition. And in this case, 0 is definitely not greater than 0. So we are not even going to bother printing. Instead, we're just going to end this loop right here and move on to the next line. Alright, so that is our brief introduction to while and do while loops, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.